Thank you very much. Such a great honor to me. Today, on the 150th anniversary of Mahatma Gandhiji, and on this inauguration of National Service Scheme, me, along with my husband, 2 babies, inviting here, I just feel really honored, and thinking about this present, Indian current situation regarding with Mahatma Gandhiji's time and his principle. It's, I think, really contradictory. Say when we reach to that which airport? On the airport, that price rise of onion rupees 900 in different big cities. This price is nearly 100 rupees per kg of onion. They said such economy so contradictory to Mahatma Gandhiji's self-sustenance. This current violent-based system of Indian administration, and this rape culture, it's, I think, it's so awful. Just thinking about mainly these 2 volunteers on this national service scheme. I just feel proud of them. Just they would inspire to other youths to resume that so-called Indian non-violence. I just feel such really proud of. I just feel when me coming here, just thinking about that long years with the feeling non-violence, it's true to yourself, ourselves. With that feeling, when I persevere, when I just wait and tolerate those long years, as long as God sees whatever I do, I don't care of others' views. One day people would know, and through succeed at last. I think thought that way, still thinking that way, though I got failed so horribly, and the people's reaction there, that was because I just thought people are just due to a work. I just feel this non-violence. I think right now is to following Gandhiji's steps. I really am not that follower. I just love non-violence, but these days there are many people or country who stood against Gandhiji's seeing of Indians or casteism. I really don't want to criticize on that matter, but what I want of it is what non-violent means, what does it impact on us when we follow non-violence. Yeah, when I just heard of raping of nuns by bishop, I just felt, oh, Indian rape culture is so strong. I just feel and so to think about it. I feel what we need of is instead of just following or imitating someone else's nature or principle, just reflecting to ourselves why we come here to this world, what's our role, what's our rights and responsibility, what's our impact to the society. Thinking about that, I just feel. And this non-violent things, people would just claim, I am Gandhian or I am a non-violent man. But seeing, when I see in a big bamboo basket, they are crowded with living chickens without any even water also, just by the roadside waiting for cutting off its necks. I mean, for a restaurant or just for buyers. I just feel, oh, though these creatures, these poor creatures are meant to be food for humans. They have that right to just not to suffer so long, thirsty, exposing to the sun. What's their sin? If I were it, what would I feel? Just people, or just businessmen or anybody else who just indulge in their profit, disregarding of the environment, the other living creatures, just too self-indulgent, so self-centered, so self-dependent, such merciless thing. Oh, we all are impermanent in this world. Why should we be so hard-hearted? That kind of feeling I want others feel. When we touch other sufferers' heart, we can solve, I think, world's problem. These days, so contradictory to its own claims. We are this, that, we can do this. It's so horrible. My coming out, living, say after 16 years, through nasal feeding without a single drop of water through mouth. I just think it's God's plan. There in Manipur, unfortunately, people sees me as demigod or saint or something desireless, emotionless, somewhat what they want to be, to see of me. That's how that long years without any real connection with people, I just persist on, waiting for against that draconian law, but it's still going on, that law in Jammu Kashmir also. When we went there for the third time, this time during this Article 371 revoked, people's sentiment towards other just outsiders of Jammu Kashmir where we just felt little humiliated. Their sense of trust is so deficit. They lost all proudness. There is mainly as for economy. What they proud of, they are mainly Kashmiri apples, and Kashmiri boat in the Dal Lake. They are.
Can I summarize so far for them?
Sorry.
I know some perhaps having trouble with her accent and the way she's speaking, so I'll just do a quick summary of what she says. If anybody doesn't understand, I believe there'll be question and answers later. So the first part was the economic crisis, and everyone's talking about the rise of onions. And Gandhiji's way was to want less. No one says that anymore. He said he wore just his dhoti, he lived a simple life and self-reliant. So he was saying, not that you have to accept it entirely, but if people didn't need the trainers or the best iPhone, then onion prices don't matter anymore. That was the first thing. And then she talked about Kashmir, came back with Kashmir. And then what would Gandhiji do? Look how he treated Muslims, our people. He didn't divide Muslims but people who claim to follow Gandhiji, what is happening in Kashmir? And I think again, in the end, she was saying she felt isolated in prison. And everybody made of what they wanted. And to a certain extent, you're doing that to Kashmiris now. So she went to Kashmir third time. And if you want to know what Kashmiris feel, you have to go there, because India won't allow them to speak directly to you. I think you're going to talk about the rape thing. That's up to you.
Yes.
So that's just summarizing so far. I'll let her continue now. So.
I don't know how to express, but my mind is so repleted with this mess up thing of this Korean life. I already read that Gandhiji's autobiography in translation on my mother tongue years back. And now, what's this non-violence? I would again just my mind would be just revolving without opening. I really don't know how to impress you, but I really feel proud of this NSS, NSS, this camp inauguration. Just she is, I am known as the fighter against the draconian law, Armed Forces Special Powers Act. I really want to imprint that acts horribleness in Indian democracy. Here, Indian central government proud of this democracy and this proudness of integrity and.
So maybe now let the students ask questions and you can answer.
Okay. Whatever you want to know of me, something you can ask. I am not a real talker. I don't know.
So, sorry. I think they're bringing a chair up, and you can ask questions. You'll get a mic, and she'll answer now. Okay.
It's very pleasure for all of us to see you here. We have been hearing your fight. You've been fighting against those draconian laws, and you've been fighting for us. And I mean, I'm just want to know. About the fanak which you wear now, the dress which you wear now. So a little bit of reading of Manipuri culture gives me the understanding that the dress which you have wear, the fanak which you have, has it got something to do with your presence, fight which you've been doing now? Although you have stopped your satyagraha, but you're still fighting against those draconian measures or those authoritarian measures done by the state. So can you talk a little bit about the dress which you wear now, the fanak?
All right. He's saying, like, does that mean something? The dress?
As for me, it's any type of preference or hatredness. I just too much used to my traditional dress. That's all. Sorry. That is it. The question.
Yeah. Next question.
Good morning, ma'am. We know that you entered politics with a hope to accelerate the repeal of Armed Forces Special Process Act. Then later you called off your move. Ma'am, what's your opinion on this?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. It's not about the Armed Forces Special Powers Act, but what's the question?
Okay, so came to know that ma'am entered into the politics with a hope to accelerate the repeal of the Armed Forces Special Process Act. Then later you called off your move, and ma'am, what's your opinion?
So are you asking how she's continuing the struggle against AFSPA?
Yes, yes.
Okay, she wants to know how you're doing it now.
Is for continuance of my unfulfilled struggle, As part of it, we went to Kashmir mainly, as in Kashmir also this draconian law is still applied there. But in Kashmir, their real demand is not just their draconian law, but they are getting free of this suppression, or then what they call jihadi or something too much deeper there. Lots of regretness, they all are angry there. Lots of other horrible laws already been applied there, not just that AFSPA. And coming here also, I want it be that continuance of my struggle, because in a democratic country, such kind of law giving immunity to killers, murderers, raping, but just as Indian system of administration to its own democratic people, imitating the then colonial rulers' law, which was applied to non-locals. I mean, those who react against their suppression. But this current Indian administration just imitated that law, only changing name. I just want be visualized by yourselves as youth. If you want to be administrator one day, or lawyer one day, or something who want to have or see some sense in the society. I don't know.
Ma'am, as a social activist, what is the advice you have for the youth now?
The advice for, sorry?
As a social activist, what is the advice you have for the youth now?
For being, sorry?
What is the advice you have?
Oh, advice for the young. Advice.
Oh, I am not an advisor. So I don't know how. Sorry. That question.
So throw it back and ask her what she thinks.
I don't know. What do you feel of your expectation as advice from me? I really don't know, want to know.
Check. Ma'am, we all know that you have led a 16-year-long hunger strike. After that, you contested in an election. So do you think that politics is crucial to bring about some change in this country? And do you think your failure in the election was a failure of humanity?
So she's saying after this 16 years you entered politics, but you failed. Does that reflect on a failure of humanity, or do you see it as a failure? So you say the political campaign.
I think it's because of the system of politics. It's not just because of this people's sentiment. Mainly, I think this type of idolization, mainly. They idolized me as if an object offered to God. They don't want me have emotions or voice or nothing else as a sacrifice thing. The main factor was that. And in Indian politics right now, it's so money-based, power-based, people not knowing themselves involved in this system. And as Manipur is a poor, financially backward, those poor families, those money, that money for buying boats is big enough for them, for some just in short term or something, it would be helpful, and they would expect from Congress I would get rupees 2,000 or 1,000, from BJP this, and from CPI, or just they would think like that. It shows that this kind of mentality, and the youngsters mainly, the sadness is they would just follow blindly to their parents or elders mindset. Our father is Congress worker, our mother is this, that kind of irresponsible ness is there.
Hi ma'am. So how is the current status of AFSPA, the Armed Forces Special Powers Act?
I think, say, recently I heard of this applying of this impunity power given to armies is just spread to other non-AFSPA imposed areas in the northeast. That means irrespective of AFSPA's imposition or not, Indian the current administrative systems policy is to suppress all collectively instead of just looking for some alternative ways.
Madam, good afternoon. Do you think non-violence is the most powerful tool against compartmentalization, discrimination, even now in 2019? Non-violence is the most powerful. Do you think non-violence is the most powerful tool against discriminations, compartmentalization during this era?
I think me as a non-violent person, as we rational beings are suitable to non-violence. I just think these violent tactics in every field of life won't solve any problems. Human nature, though we know we ourselves violent, we study and we grow up, we climb up to the moon, from that cave Why shouldn't we be that kind of that nature of non-violentness, this calmness, this beautiness in unweaponized way of living. I just still faith in non-violence and will always be in non-violent way of life.
You were fighting a battle for long 16 years, and in between you developed a curious kind of relationship with Desmond Coutinho. And I would like to know more about your relationship with him and how did you fall in love with him?
I think, say from my experience, people's interest is mainly on this personal love life. I just think this human nature. I think because of this love also, my heart somewhat softened and somewhat in Buddhist way of this the moderate in everything, that kind of thing. It's just normal as others. Just it's normal.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Here. I'm so honored to see you in person. So my question is, you are one among the eminent activists the mankind has ever seen, as you know. My question is, do you regret that you missed something in those 16 years of hunger strike and your hunger strike?
I never feel regret of that 16 years struggle. I think it taught me lessons which are not in books, and I never feel regret. And say you would feel I am somewhat odd because I don't feel miss of people dear right now. What I want of is expanding my view and reaching out to the whole world if possible. But the problem is Indian government, I think, feel hatred of me. They refuse to give me a passport for over 2 years. Since after applying passport, still I don't get one.
Good afternoon, ma'am. That's the last question. Today, 4 rapists were killed by Hyderabad police officers when they tried to escape. Being an activist of non-violence, what is your opinion? Are you supporting this of killing 4 men or standing against humanity of rapists? What is your opinion?
Sorry, I didn't catch. Is this about an IAS officer? Or what's it about?
Today, 4 rapists try to escape from police.
So something happened. I'm sorry, I haven't followed the news. Something happened today.
Yeah.
Oh, can you say what it was?
Police station, they try to escape. So they kill them. Police officers try to kill. They kill them.
Is it the protests against rape? No. Something else.
I didn't get you.
I don't understand.
They kill the rapist. Police officers kill the rapist.
Oh, lynched. Oh, about lynch violence, lynch mobs on rape.
I think why law is there. People just grab power in their hands. That's the problem. I think this Indian democracy is absolutely contradictory to what you want to mean as democracy. These people's representative and the people in between people and representatives, there is a very vast gap. And that's how everything is somewhat collapsed. Why should people punish those criminals? There is law, but law in reality it's really it's really sad. I don't know.
Okay, if you'll allow me some words, I will embarrass my wife now. And it's about the culture here of entitlement. Young men feel, especially from a certain caste or economic structure, they have rights. Now what Gandhiji did in his personal brahmacharya life, I don't believe he would do today. Yeah? It was wrong for him to ask his grandniece to do anything private with him because she couldn't say no. He's not a stupid man. And if he saw what was happening today, he would oppose that first. I have 2 daughters. The problem with the rape culture is not going to be solved if you hang a few Dalits or a few Muslims. This is part of the problem. You call it patriarchy. And it has to be changed. You have to tackle the sense of entitlement, which comes from a sense of being superior through caste. And Kerala and the Christian churches are not immune from this. The first time we came, we heard about the massive rate of suicide among Roman Catholic nuns. And then the rape crisis in the Catholic Church, because the church doesn't come down from heaven, it stems from the people here. And if you have men with a sense of entitlement, then who is going to become your priests and bishops? And you'll have politicians doing it. It is very difficult for women to speak up, so men have to speak up and take responsibility for this also. And it is deeply shaming that you will do things like this to my daughters when they grow up. And it is shameful for me only to consider this now I have daughters. But that's what I wanted to say.